Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome to
Confidently Controversial.
This is the show that's about
movies and stuff.
and love
And life.
and laughter
And loose women.
and friendship.
And germs.
Jesus. I think it was fine. We should have ended it on friendship. You had to take it to that other spot. Kim is unwell today.
I'm not well. I'm not well physically. I'm not, maybe not well mentally. But here we are in a new location.
And we always do well with change on this podcast.
Trying to do a podcast.
I know. Well, so we're here at my house.
Yes.
We don't typically record at my home, so it might sound a little bit different.
That's true.
And that's okay. Change of venue is sometimes good.
Sometimes.
Sure. Mm-hmm. You're real grumpus today.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay to be grumpy sometimes.
But I do have something. I have to tell you about something.
Oh, good. I'm ready.
So I watched, and you now have homework assignment to watch a documentary.
Okay.
About the supreme being, Mother God.
I heard about that. It's a cult, right?
Yes.
And she's like real dumb.
Well, she's passed away.
Okay. Sorry. Well, okay.
I don't think she's dumb, but her podcast, her cult, her
podcast, whichever,
is called Love Has Won, and they refer to her as Mother God.
Okay.
And it is insane and crazy and amazing. And Robin Williams is like their supreme lord leader being. So he has a lot of influence.
Hold it. Robin Williams, the actor who passed away, the comedian.
Yes.
Mork.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's the supreme leader being that tells them and guides them and tells them things to do in this cult. Like all throughout, it's 3 parts.
What channel? HBO. Okay.
3 parts. All throughout, they reference Robin. They're like, well, Robin said to do this. And it takes me a minute. And then I'm like, oh, right. They mean Robin Williams. So it's.
I've seen like pieces of it or people referencing it like on Tik Toks and Reels.
Yes, you have
so
to
I've
watch
heard of it.
You have to.
Okay, I'm going to. I will watch it by the time we see each other again.
Okay, please do. Okay. So there's a Mother God, and she's just like a regular lady. And she had 3 kids, and she like up and left her 3 kids, and then started this cult.
How old were her kids when she up and left them?
Young. The boy was probably like 7, maybe 8.
So they were little. I often wonder with that kind of stuff, like, is that like a postpartum thing, and you just like you lose it a little bit?
Well, it's definitely, that's the thing about it is watching it. The saddest part about it is it's just severe mental illness.
Yeah,
and they do a lot of.
And then you bring in others.
You bring in others who are
also probably a little
anorexia, and you bring in drugs and alcohol.
Fun.
And also, they take colloidal silver, which is...
What's that?
It's...
Colloidal? Is that like you put it up your butt?
No. What?
I'm being colonic.
Oh my God. No. So they basically ingest silver.
That's not good for your brain.
It is not good for your brain, and it is not good for the fact that by the end of this movie, well, this is a very modern cult, so everything's on video.
Well, Robin Williams.
Right. Everything's on video, and so they have like cell phone videos of all this stuff. The woman is...
Mother God.
Mother God is like blue-gray at the end because it turns your skin colors.
Ugh.
It is.
I'm sorry, I made a weird noise just then, but it really grosses me out.
It deserves it. And one other thing I have to talk about is like they have this like board that shows like all of her past lives.
Okay.
And and it's all people that are passed away, right? So there's like Michael Jackson and George Michael, and they point to Elvis, and they're like, Elvis was her son. And then, but also Carol Burnett is on there, and Randy and I are like, she's not dead. So,
That's so weird. And it's why is it everybody who has past lives, there are always like famous people.
Right.
Most of us, our past lives were just like some schmoes
or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like some schmo that we were before. cool.
Right.
Not someone famous. At least I don't think that I'm fairly certain that if I had past lives, they were just like some normal people.
Right.
Like this is probably the best one. I think right now is the best one.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it gets better if you believe in, like, if you're good in this life, you'll continuously...
I don't think I was that good.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Will we find each other in our next life?
Of course.
We'll be best friends?
Yes, we've been best friends since
Robin the dawn
was born.
Since the dawn of Robin Williams, we have been best friends.
So anyway, please watch it. We can talk about it more next week.
Okay.
But it's just... Whoa.
But you know what I watched last night that was delightful?
What's that?
It's a new holiday movie. And I gotta say, I fell asleep before the end because I'm old. But what I'm going to go back and watch the rest of it because it was very funny and very fun, which is Candy Cane Lane. With Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
It's fun.
Friend of the podcast, Eddie Murphy.
Friend of the podcast. He's so funny. And it was really like a cute idea. It's a little creepy.
Oh.
And it's also it's a very interesting premise for the movie, and I really enjoyed it. Awesome. So I'm going to go back and finish that up. But that was a lot of fun. I watched that. And yeah, I'm in charge of the computer today.
Are you fully
and I shouldn't be.
You're fully in Christmas mode?
Well, you're sitting in my Christmas right now.
Lovely.
Yeah, we have the tree, which we just put up yesterday.
Nice.
And I really do believe that we do a primo tree at our house.
But I have to make a comment because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. The fact that you buy the real tree.
We do.
And people now are posting on Instagram.
Is that a thing? Am I not supposed to buy a real tree?
Would you listen?
I'm listening.
Okay. People are posting on Instagram about colonies of bugs that have hatched out of their trees, such as praying mantis. And then
I wouldn't be sad if a bunch of praying mantises.
It was like a lot. And then another one had like all these little tiny bugs, and then someone else had spiders. So like, I hope you shook that thing out real good.
Well, they do that thing. So when you buy the tree, and we always go to the same place in our town, which is a pig farm / Christmas tree farm.
As they are.
Yes. And they, so what they do is when you pick your tree out, and this year, we haven't done it the past couple of years because they haven't had a lot of like the ones that like you just cut down. But this year we did cut ours down, and my parents were there too. And it was so cute because my middle child son, was hell bent on cutting the tree down himself. So we let him do it, and he actually cut both of them down, and he was so proud, and he was like, I'm a man. Like, he was very excited about it. But what you do is when you pick it out and then you haul it out of the field, and they put it on this thing that shakes it violently, and all the extra like needles fall off, and I'm going to guess that any like living creature that was on it is going to die or fall off of it. It's going to die.
Well, your tree is lovely.
Thank you.
And you picked a good shape.
Thank you. Well, they cut it into the shape, I believe. Like, you look, they don't grow like that. You gotta, like, shape them.
Stop ruining Christmas.
I'm not ruining Christmas.
That's the way they grow.
Okay, that's right. That's exactly the way that they grow. Okay. Yeah, I'm fully in the Christmas spirit. I sing loud for all to hear.
Good.
I'm enjoying it very much.
Great.
I like the holidays. It's just kind of nice. I've done a lot of shopping.
I haven't. I really need to get caught up. So.
Well, this is exciting because this is your birthday week.
It is. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Oh yeah, it is. Tomorrow is your birthday.
When this podcast is released, tomorrow is my birthday.
I'm excited about that. What are we going to do tomorrow?
I don't know. We really went all out last year.
We went so far out last year
to top that.
I will say we went so far out for Kim's birthday last year that we got tattoos to commemorate it.
We did.
Like legit, it was quite the riot. Yeah.
It was. It was a great time. So I don't know if you can top it if everybody just lays at home this year because it's hard to beat.
I don't want to lay.
No, I know.
I want to go celebrate. We'll do something. Okay. Well, let's.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna sip my coffee though.
Okay. That's fine. I'm gonna try not to cough.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you about this movie, and I don't really have a big build up into telling you what this movie is because it's a Christmas movie. they're very limited.
I'm going to know it.
You're
Is what
going
you're
to
saying.
know it
Okay.
pretty quickly when I start to tell you about it. But I do have some fun facts to share.
I love a fun fact.
So this movie is a Christmas fantasy comedy.
Okay.
It was released in 1988.
Okay.
And it's rated PG-13.
I think I know what it is.
Okay. Well, don't say it yet.
Okay.
It was released on November 23rd, 1988.
So this one is actually the first Christmas movie we've done that was firmly released in the Christmas season.
Last week we said we were waist deep in Christmas. This week we're like fully submerged.
Fully submerged. Okay.
This movie did very well at the box office. It made over $100 million worldwide.
Wow.
The director of this movie is Richard Donner, and he's a famous director. He's directed things like Superman and Lethal Weapon. And
Like the original Superman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lethal Weapon movies, X-Men.
Okay.
He also did Goonies.
Yay.
And then the writers are Mitch Glazer and Michael O'Donoghue, and those are actually Saturday Night Live writers.
I know what this movie is.
What is it?
It's Scrooged.
Yes, it's Scrooged.
This is exciting. Can I tell you that I distinctly remember going to the movie theater to see this movie.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
I was there in November of 1988. My little
When it came
11-year-old self went to the movies with my middle school friends.
So this is a popular movie for us too. Like we definitely watch this movie a lot. This movie stars Bill Murray.
Love him.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Love him.
Karen Allen.
Beautiful Karen Allen. Yes.
John Forsythe, Carol Kane, and Alfre Woodward.
Okay.
The musical score is by Danny Elfman, and he is a really popular guy, Danny Elfman. He does a lot of musical scores for a lot of movies.
He is, and he's really weird, though.
Okay, well, he's married to Bridget Fonda. Fun fact.
He's married to Bridget Fonda?
Yes.
His daughter is not Bridget Fonda, like the Jenna Elfman?
That's his daughter?
Yes.
You're sure?
I'm fairly certain. We're going to figure it out during the movie.
Well, I don't know.
Danny Elfman wasn't he in Oingo Boingo?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, he did the scores for Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Spider-Man, Good Will Hunting, and Milk. He's been nominated for Oscars. He's won Emmys and Grammys.
Good for him.
So obviously, this movie is based on the 1843 novella A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens.
Obviously.
Classic
Christmas story.
And I thought it would be fun to see if I could figure out how many movies have been made based off A Christmas Carol.
You thought that would be fun for you?
It was fun for me, actually. Gotta be honest. It was a little fun. And I found a list on IMDb. The list 72 Christmas Carol remakes.
Wow.
Starting in 1908.
Wow. It was probably one of the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I wrote down some notable ones, some that I thought were pretty exciting.
Okay.
So 1979 TV movie, An American Christmas Carol, starring Henry Winkler.
Wow.
Yes.
Fun.
There's also
I've never seen that one.
No.
I've seen a lot, I feel like.
many.
I've seen a lot.
1999 version starring Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart. I think it's Stewart.
Stewart.
Okay. I've seen that one,
There's a 2000 version called A Diva's Christmas Carol.
Of course.
Starring Vanessa Williams. Sorry.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize.
Also, one called A Carol Christmas, starring Tori Spelling.
It's probably a good one.
And there's one, this is my favorite title. It's called It's Christmas Carol.
Who's in that one?
Carrie Fisher.
Nice.
2012. Vincent Price has a version called The Christmas Carol.
Okay.
1949.
Okay.
There's obviously Ghosts of Christmas Past with Matthew McConaughey.
I've never seen that.
You haven't?
No, is it good?
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
And
I love I love some
And
McConaughey.
Jennifer Garner's in it as well. And so is, what's that man? Michael Douglas.
What's that man?
Who's that man's name? Michael Douglas.
Remind me of that one because I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
And then this one I thought was funny. There's one called Ebby, because, it's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Okay.
Called Ebby, starring Susan Lucci.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Is she Ebenezer or is she Ebby?
She's Ebby. It's like a lady,
okay. It's a lady
Scrooge.
I have an idea. I just think of the pitch me. Here's the thing. We get Susan Lucci.
Right. She's Lady Scrooge.
She's Lady Scrooge.
Right.
We call her Ebby.
Right. And then I also thought it was fun to note that every cartoon character has starred in a version of this. You have the Looney Tunes, you have Mickey Mouse, you have the Muppets, you have Mr. Magoo, you have the Smurfs, you have the Flintstones. All have their own versions.
Well, I mean, I feel like of all of those, the top-notch one is Muppets.
Yeah.
Which is Michael Caine as Ebenezer.
Right.
We watch that one. That's one we watch every year. Mm-hmm. And the joke with it is that Michael Caine just gives a very serious, performance with it, and it's great. Yes. It is really just a great version of it. One of my favorites, I would say.
Yes, it's up there.
Do you have a favorite version?
Probably this one. I mean,
well, I just watched. This is a good one. This one probably in my top 3.
Yeah.
We just watched last year. They made that Spirited.
Is that one too?
That's one too.
Oh, really?
With Ryan Reynolds, and it's a spin on it, but it was good. It's as my niece said, or my mom, someone who was watching it with me said, it's silly,
cheeky, right?
It's cheeky. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's like his brand of humor. It's you can't not like him and Will Ferrell.
Right.
Yeah, they're fun.
Okay, so this movie was filmed in 1987, 1988. It was a lot of it was filmed in Hollywood, but they did film some scenes in New York City. Bill Murray had actually taken a break from acting after Ghostbusters, because Ghostbusters was such a huge movie, and he became so incredibly famous. Like he was just like, whoa,
like I need to chill out.
So he had not acted for 4 years,
and I bet you, I feel like his children are about our age, so he probably had younger kids at that point.
But he only agreed to be in it if the script was reworked. And apparently there was a lot of turmoil on set between Bill Murray and Richard Donner, the director.
Okay.
They didn't really get along and had what they called different visions for the film. Bill Murray said about his time on the film that it was misery. But Richard Donner said it was a superbly creative but occasionally difficult time.
Well, I feel like they talk about now how Bill Murray is a little bit of a cantankerous sort. So, yeah.
It got mixed reviews from the critics, but it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Makeup.
Okay.
But it lost.
Okay.
To Beetlejuice.
Well, I get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The critics, some people felt it was too mean-spirited for a Christmas movie.
But... Well, I'm okay. I would argue that's...
But then some of them also said it was too sentimental. Which is just
you can't make anybody happy.
What do you want from us?
I know. I love it.
And then there was also commentary that it was an alternative to traditional Christmas movies, and it was ahead of its time in filming.
Okay.
Yes. So, there was a little bit of concern about making it into a comedy movie. I guess just because of the subject matter is meant to be serious.
I guess so. I mean, I guess there wasn't before this one. There wasn't a Christmas Carol that was I can't think of the ones before that I was aware of. Were just more like the straight adaptation of the thing. Yeah.
And then what's cool about this movie too is it features John, Joel, Brian Doyle Murray. As well as Bill Murray.
Yes, there's lots of Murrays.
All the Murray brothers are featured in this film.
It's a Murray Christmas.
Yes, and then there are also cameos by Buddy Hackett, Mary Lou Retton.
Yes, I knew that.
Jamie Farr, Robert Goulet, Lee Majors, Miles Davis.
Yes.
Paul Schaefer, and Robert Mitchum.
Yeah, this is a fun movie.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited to watch it.
One of the things that they pointed out in this movie is Buster Poindexter.
Yes, I follow him on Instagram.
You do?
I do.
Well, I guess he got this role because he's somewhat friends with Bill Murray. They had originally considered Sam Kinison.
No, I'm glad that it was Buster Poindexter. He's like my favorite. Yeah. It's a bone, you lucky dog.
And I thought you would be interested to know this. This movie features the final performance of...
So I'm going to be sad.
No.
Oh, who?
The Solid Gold Dancers.
Kim's saying this because I recently went down a rabbit hole on TikTok watching all kinds of Solid Gold dancing performances. And I got to say, that show was... I'm surprised you didn't watch that show.
I mean, it's not memorable if we did.
I think, again, I think this falls into the category of I have an older sister.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I remember my sister liking to watch it, but you have to go back and just watch some of the clips from that show. Just the metallic spandex of it all. And just the interpretive dance to songs that these are like professional dancers, and they have them dancing to, the top 10 hits, but the top 10 hits are not always disco dancey songs.
Right.
There's other songs in there that don't really lend themselves to performative dance.
Sure.
That's when it gets really fun.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a great show. And that scene with the solid gold dancers is also, you can't even see that nipple.
Right. Well, I think that I think the show was canceled. The Solid Gold, the television show, was canceled earlier that year, so they never were in anything else.
Oh,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Solid Gold. I'm surprised it lasted into the late 80s.
Yeah.
I would have thought that it was,
right.
Early 80s.
Well past being canceled.
Oh.
So, and then one other thing that I thought was notable is, Bill Murray obviously said miserable time on the set. He said that the fake snow that they used made him cough up blood.
Oh.
So that would make one miserable.
Yeah, I would be pretty miserable as well.
Yeah. And then there's a song in this movie that's got pretty popular.
Is it Open Up Your Heart?
Put a little love in your heart.
What?
I lost my tone. But that song is by Annie Lennox and Al Green.
Oh.
And that spent 17 wicks. 17 wicks.
Oh, 17 wicks? That many wicks?
That many wicks.
Wow.
It spent 17 weeks on the Billboard charts.
That's great. That is a great song too.
It is.
This is a heartwarming movie.
It is.
It's a lot of fun. And I am excited to watch it with you. I feel like it's one of those movies that is always on my list to watch every year, but I don't get to watch it every year. I don't know if we watched it last year or not.
Right.
But
it used to come on TV a lot more. I don't know that it comes on TV as much as it used to.
No, I don't know. I don't really watch regular TV anymore.
Oh, that's right. You're better than TV.
It's not that I'm better than TV. It's just that the way that TV works nowadays makes no sense anymore.
Fair. I gotta be honest. Yesterday, I gotta be honest. What does that mean?
Don't be lying. Don't be lying to me. Are you usually lying?
I guess.
Putting up fronts with your best friend?
I guess so.
Why?
Yesterday, I wanted to watch a Christmas movie, and there was nothing on.
Does no one care about Christmas anymore?
I don't know. They had them all like 2 weeks ago. You could watch anything, and then yesterday, nada.
Well, I highly recommend you watch Candy Cane Lane. That's a good one.
Right.
I recommend Spirited. That's another good one. The new
watch...
ones are fun. Alex wanted to watch, my husband Alex, that's his name. He wanted to watch this movie on Netflix that's supposed to be, it's called like The Best Christmas Ever. And it's supposed to be so bad it's good. And it stars the guy from American Pie and Roller Girl.
And Brandy. I watched it. It is not good.
No, but that's what Alex said. He said it's supposed to be so bad it's good.
It's just bad.
We started watching it.
Is in it.
Yes, we started watching it, and all of us, me and all of my children, just started going, "Turn it off! Turn it off!" Like we made him turn it off. It was terrible. Worse. It was so bad.
It's really bad.
I don't know why Alex wanted to watch it.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing because it was. I just had it on in the background while I was doing other stuff. And at a certain point, I looked up and I was just like, "Are they in a hot? If there's a solar powered hot air balloon in one part that they use at night."
Ugh. Well, the whole way that whole movie gets started is that they let the kid program in the GPS and to her sister's house, and she gets all the way there without realizing, oh, this isn't my sister's house.
Right.
Which is like, are you stupid?
It's Brandy's house.
And then
that's her name, right? Brandy?
Yes.
Okay.
And then at a certain point, they're in the car, and the kid says that his stuffed animal peed in the car, and it's like, wait, did you pee in the car? And nobody does anything about it.
No.
It's very weird.
Yeah, the stuffed animal's like a creepy monkey.
Yes, like not even cute.
Yeah, no. Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated it. I hated it.
Yeah, I don't know where Alex got his information from, but...
I don't know where my husband gets any information from. But I do feel like every year, people try and make new Christmas movies.
They do.
And because, if it's like a Christmas hit.
Right.
If you get a Christmas
You get a
hit,
single.
you're set for life. In fact, I believe the premise of About a Boy is that Hugh Grant's dad wrote some kind of Christmas hit, and he's living off that money for the rest of his life.
Well, remember, too, in Bridget Jones's Diary, one of her friends, didn't they write a Christmas song?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie as well.
Okay.
But I think that's the thing. Everybody wants to have a hit. So every year people put out new Christmas movies. And I think sometimes, like Scrooged, you get one that stands the test of time, that continues. But most of the time, the Christmas movies are not like... I was looking back through my... because I was looking for a movie to watch yesterday. I'm looking back and there's like Arthur Christmas... Even Polar Express is so terrible. Yeah. But, you know, every once in a while you hit on one that people really like and that people go back and watch over and over again. Like, I like that Spirited movie. I'm going to add both that and Candy Cane Lane to my list of Christmas movies because they were fun. Right. Elf. Modern classic. Classic Elf. But then there's so many other ones that just come and go every year. There's a new Christmas movie and people either like it or they lump it.
I like that.
All right, well, are you ready to go and watch this movie?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go watch this movie and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
All right.
Controversial. Confidently controversial.
We're back.
Oh, wow, that happened fast.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. I love that movie.
I do too. It's great.
I really, you know, I believe in Christmas. Like hard. Like I really believe in Christmas. Like a lot.
Like Bill Murray at the end of the movie.
Yes. I feel like I am Bill Murray at the end of this movie all the time.
Yeah, it has the potential to be magical. You know, it's a magical moment. And I don't know. I mean, like at night when it's all dark. And just the lights are on. Just the tree lights are on.
I know.
So magical.
It really is. It really is. It really is the best. I love me some Christmas. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Bill Murray. Handsome?
He's not.
But
he's funny and his humor and his wit and his demeanor is attractive.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I like that, like, you watch him in a movie, and I like that we were okay with people not being so perfect in the 80s.
Yes, and I actually wrote that down as one of my notes from this. Like, I enjoy that in the 80s, we were okay with fucked up teeth. We were just like, people had different teeth.
He doesn't have great, and this is not to be shitty. This is just to say the differences between now and then. He doesn't have good teeth. He's got very thinning hair.
Yes.
He clearly has acne scars and large pores. And he's beloved.
Large pores.
I'm a girl with a large pore, so I can say that.
No, it's true. And because it wasn't just him, like the other guy in this, that Bryce, because they do a lot of close up to the mouth. Yeah. So I was noticing teeth. But I think nowadays you're not allowed to have and their teeth aren't bad teeth. They're normal human teeth.
Well, it's interesting. So like I've heard Dax Shepard talk about this a little bit on his podcast too. Like, how, you know, if you're too built or too good looking, that you don't have the body or the face for comedy.
Right.
Like to be a solid comedic actor, you can't be too good looking. You can't be too cut. You can't have that like ripped body.
I don't know about that now because I think of Ryan Reynolds, who is very funny.
Yes.
And he's very handsome.
He is very funny. And very handsome, but I'm not like the best comedian in the world is Ryan Reynolds. True.
Yeah, I get that, but I also just think across the board, everybody was allowed to be in the 80s. We were just a little bit more accepting of the fact that not everybody was perfect.
We were looking for talent.
We're not looking for face. I also don't know that the technology was there in terms of
plastic surgery
and veneers,
dental work and stuff.
Yeah, like all that stuff.
But at the same time too, like you don't want your people being funny to be like too perfect. Otherwise, they're not relatable, right?
But I also think like good-looking people don't need to be so super perfect either to be good-looking. You know what I mean?
Stop being so perfect.
God, like I'm not so perfect. Yeah. People seem to like me, but people were okay with me. Okay, I had another comment.
Okay.
My other thought is, okay, so a big part of this movie is that Bill Murray falls back in love or gets back. His big regret when they go back in time is that he broke up with, he had this one true love in his life who he breaks up with, and then he gets back together with her at the end. So they say it's been, when he sees her for the first time, they say, well, it's been 15 years since we spoke.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm guessing he was probably like early 20s, and in the movie's supposed to be like late 30s when they see each other again.
Yeah.
But my thought was, who is your boyfriend from 15 years ago?
Oh, no.
Who, and what if it was just like all of a sudden that person was just like, hey, I mean, let's forget the fact that we're married.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, like, ex-boyfriend, and it's funny because we just talked about that in a recent thing.
Know.
But I don't feel like that counts because that's too real. And he wasn't your boyfriend 15 years ago.
No, because I'm way older than that.
But if that large of a gap had taken place and all of a sudden that person got back in touch with you and was like, you know what, I made a mistake. I really love you. Let's start our life together. Would you just be like, let's do this thing?
But I'm completely single. I have no
You're
one else in my
completely
life.
single.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if...
Yeah, I'm game.
I don't know. There's some nostalgia in former love.
Well, do you think that their relationship lasts, or do you think it just goes back to the same as it was before?
It obviously lasts, Emily. They make it forever. They're forever.
They are forever.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Would you welcome that? I mean, I think 15 years ago I was with my husband.
15 years ago, I was with my husband as well.
So if he came back and was like, hey, do you want to go out? I'd be like, too late, buddy. We're already married.
and I will go out and you will pay.
Right. And I'm probably going to say no.
Yeah. It's I guess 15 years isn't that big of a gap in time. But yeah, I don't know. I love that part of it though. Like, I love how they fall back in love at the end of the movie.
But
it's
at the
really
same time,
sweet.
at the end of the movie, like the two encounters that they've had previous to this
aren't great.
No, he's been a real asshole to her. And we're just assuming that she's like, okay, great, let's get back together at the end. Like, she's not even second guessing it or thinking about it a little bit. The fact that he's been just a major dick the last two times.
Was he a dick when she first came to the studio?
Yeah, because remember he was like bossing people around. That was like right after that lady got hit with the light pole.
With like the staples and like the mouse's head.
Stapling the ears, or the antlers to the mouse's head. Yeah. And then, he was kind of bananas.
Okay.
And then he went to visit her in the homeless shelter, and she couldn't do what he wanted right then and there immediately. And he was just like, forget it. If you can't do this now, I'm not interested.
Yeah. True.
It's lousy.
It is lousy. I
mean, he did have this full redemptive scene on the air,
and she
live
just
in front of a studio audience,
and she's just like, "Get me down there. This is my moment. I'm getting back with this guy.
Right.
We're gonna be together forever. Forever. Sorry, wrong movie. We also found out that Danny Elfman is the uncle of Jenna Elfman.
The uncle?
The uncle, because Jenna Elfman is not really an Elfman. She married into that name. Her husband's name is Bodie Elfman.
Okay.
And
so
that is the
uncle by marriage.
Uncle by marriage. So they're not really related at all.
Okay.
But you were correct that Danny Elfman is married to Bridget Fonda, and they have one child.
Thanks. That's what my research said. Thanks for confirming.
I've confirmed it.
Well, thanks, Emily. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I never believe anything you say. I have to check everything. That's what I do every night, because we talk to each other every day, and at night I go back through. I fact check you. I'm like, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe what you just said about this. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I was thinking that the funny thing I looked up while we were watching it was the fact that like the VCR, the VHS player, was like the big gift.
Oh yeah,
in this movie,
they were a big deal back then.
Yeah, it was a big deal. So I looked it up, and a VHS at its height cost $1,500.
Oh my God.
But they said by the mid-'80s, it cost $200 to $400.
That's still very expensive.
Yeah, and I
mean,
feel
you
like-
can get like a nice like digital TV or like digital TV. Is that what they call them? A smart TV.
Smart TV.
You can get like a smart TV now for like $200.
Yeah, and I bet you could buy a VHS player.
I don't even know if you could buy. Do they
I
even
guess-
sell them?
Yeah, you probably can't buy one.
You probably, I mean, on like eBay or something.
Yeah.
You would
but
have to
I
go.
mean, what, $20?
Are they
tops?
making new VHS players these days? They don't sell VHS tapes. Think about. I was thinking about this the other day. Think of how much space, like CDs and DVDs and VHS tapes used to take up in our lives.
Oh yeah, I mean, they still take up a lot of room in my life. My husband
They do.
still buys DVDs
Okay.
regularly, but at the same time, I did see.
You like how I didn't comment on that? I just
You're
went,
like, yeah. I saw a meme recently where people were talking about how like the streaming, you have to pay like $7.99 for this streaming service and $9.99 for this one, and then you have to do this one. And we've learned this a lot while watching. Like I have a lot of streaming services, and I still have to pay for a lot of movies.
Oh, yeah.
that we watch, and about the fact that like pretty soon people are getting their DVD players back out.
oh yeah. I know. It's really kind of ridiculous. And I mean, there's a lot of movies that I purchased on Amazon, which then you don't have to continually rent them. So I have a pretty good digital library, but I always think to myself, well, what if I go to something different and then I don't have those movies there anymore? It's like you're just
that
buying
doesn't
them for
feel
while you
real.
have them.
That doesn't feel real. That you
It doesn't.
actually own
It
those.
doesn't feel real. But none of it is real. None of it's real, Kim. What are we spending our money?
Really matter.
What are we spending our money on here?
Yeah, well,
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. You know what
Yeah.
matters? Christmas,
Christmas.
in your heart,
In your mind.
in your spirit, all year round.
Right.
Not just one day, because once you have it, you get greedy for it, Kim.
Right.
You want it all the time.
So we should talk about like the ghosts that come to visit him. So you have the ghost of Christmas past.
Right. As played by Buster Poindexter.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
He was at like New York Dolls. He was the lead singer of the New York Dolls.
Oh, really?
Yes. He was like big time back in like that time, like late 70s, early 80s.
He was big time in that time.
Big time in that time. Well, it's funny because when I was in college, I worked at a poster store, which used to be a thing. I don't think it's a thing anymore, but it used to be a pretty big deal thing. And I remember we had a big poster of the New York Dolls, and he was the lead
I
singer.
thought you were going to say I was Buster Poindexter.
Well, I mean, he was the lead singer of the New York Dolls, and I guess they dressed like it almost made me think of like a
Swing.
No, it was more like David Bowie. Like they dressed a little bit androgynously.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's more of a punk thing, I
Okay.
think. I'm not really that familiar with their music.
Okay.
But he still is actually his look now is tiny mustache, his pencil mustache just above the upper lip.
Really?
And he's got all this space where there's no mustache. And he's like a little man who lives in New York City.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, and he does musical stuff. I don't know, but yeah, I enjoy him.
He's the ghost of Christmas past,
Yes.
and he takes Frank Cross to see his childhood.
Yes, which is nice. He got a little teared up when he sees his mom.
He did, but his
I
dad
did
was
too.
kind of an ass.
His dad was a little bit.
Are we
of
just
an
supposed
ass.
to like? Are we supposed to think that he became partly this way because of his parents? Is that why we see that?
Well, I think that's why that's the whole thing with the whole thing. You go back in time, you see the problem. It's therapy 101. You go back in time, you see the reasons why. Like think of the original one. You go back in time, you see Ebenezer Scrooge, where his parents just left him at school. His mom died. His dad just left him at school.
You're way more familiar with A Christmas Carol than I am.
I can't believe you're not that familiar with it. I feel like just living makes you like a scholar on this.
Well, I guess I haven't lived that.
You haven't lived. Where have you been? So Buster Poindexter, Ghost of Christmas Past. I love the scenes where he's in the office building from when, like, the 60s.
Yeah. Oh,
That's really fun.
the Christmas party.
Yes.
Yes, and he's like, you basically see how he got where he is today. So you see him working up in the mailroom, and then he becomes the dog.
The dog. It's the bone. I think I said that before, but I really like that line a lot. It's a good one. And then you have the Ghost of Christmas Present, which is played by Carol Kane.
Who's amazing.
amazing.
I love her in that role
so much. She's so freaking cute in her little outfit.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
punching them all the time.
I feel like she's a very like specific actress because she's got that nasally voice and
Right.
but has like some super iconic roles.
Yeah,
Princess.
she's super cute.
She's in Princess Bride.
Who is she in Princess? Oh yeah, she's the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in a lot of stuff. She was in License to Drive. Remember, she's all
She was
pregnant.
Licensed to Drive, and she's in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
She is in that movie. I believe she's in she's in the Muppet movie.
Yeah.
Every time they say myth, she says yes. It's very cute. Yeah, like that. And then the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is just a
in the present
scary
though.
one.
They see they go and see Grace, who is
His
Frank's assistant,
Yeah.
and the boy Calvin, and he doesn't speak because he saw his father get killed
That's what they say.
5 years ago on a night just like tonight.
Yeah, so he does not speak. He's nonverbal, but just because he chooses not to. And you see that like Grace has this lovely family, but she's poor, and that's because
He's
I guess executive assistants didn't make that much back then.
no, they do now.
They do now.
They've moved up in the world.
They certainly have. So she is not doing so well. Also, you see his brother, as played by his actual brother, and his other brother, Joel Murray, is in
little
that
hot.
scene. A little hot. A little hot with his little mullet. Love him.
And then but you also see the gentleman from the homeless shelter who has passed away.
You do.
Due to the cold weather.
Yes. He's living in a sewer and he gets real cold. And he turns to ice because that happens.
Well, he's just like all blue because he's frozen to death, Emily.
I guess so. Okay. I'm sorry.
Jesus. Have a heart.
I do.
You just say it.
It's not real, Kim. I think that guy died in real life, though.
Okay. Well, he's an older gentleman.
Okay.
Sometimes that happens.
Yes, indeed.
And then in the future, really only thing he sees in the future is his own death and Calvin in a mental facility.
Yes.
Because he doesn't speak. Calvin has to go to a mental facility because he never talks.
Yes. A padded room in a mental facility wearing thermals.
Yeah, which is, I don't understand, but...
I don't understand it either.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And then he comes back and he's born again. Christmas baby.
What?
He's happy.
He's born again.
That's what he says. I'm the Christmas baby. I'm born again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not a born again Christian.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Is.
Maybe he is. Maybe that's what happens.
I think what is really funny is that at one point Carol Kane gives Bill Murray Zerberts. And then at the end of the movie, he has to give Bobcat Goldthwait Zerberts.
You know what? I wrote down, I call them raspberries, but Zerbert also. But raspberries, and I just wrote, raspberries are so fun. How long have people been doing that?
A great question.
I know, but like think about it, because it's such like a simple thing to just put your mouth on somebody else and just and blow. So like I feel like, was that in Dickens' time? Do you think they were doing Zerberts?
I don't think so.
They had to have.
How did someone accidentally figure out that like if you have a little piece of chubby skin, it'll make a Zerbert?
It doesn't have to be a chubby skin. It can be in any skin.
Yeah, but it makes a better noise when it's on chubby skin. It gets more. You get more.
Well, you get the belly. Yeah, the belly is the traditional Zerbert area.
Right.
Yeah, the belly or the cheek. But I feel like
cheek.
Yeah, when there's Zerberts on someone's cheek.
Face cheek or ass cheek? Do you Zerbert people's asses? I think you might. You weirdo.
No.
Watch out! Here comes Emily.
Zerbert your ass.
Here she comes. She's gonna pants, yeah, and then she's gonna Zerbert your cheek.
Oh man, I wonder why I keep getting fired.
Like it's just fun.
It's just
imagine
fun.
raspberries. They're so enjoyable.
I mean, they've probably been around since like Dickens. They probably have. I mean, it's just like people are people, right? Like people are people, Kim. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they probably realized like long ago.
That mouth on skin.
That's just fun, right? Like people have been like, hanging out together, giving Zerberts.
Hanging out, giving Zerberts.
Giving
I
Zerberts.
feel like you shouldn't really give Zerberts to people that like aren't in your family.
or like, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I would be.
it's intimate.
It's very intimate.
Yeah, you don't just give a Zerbert to someone you don't really know.
I would be sad if you gave me a Zerbert.
Never!
And we know each other so well.
So well, and I would never Zerbert you.
It's just for family, I think. Or like little babies. You can Zerbert a little baby.
That you don't know that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just meet a baby. Zerbert them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it is something you have to have a good relationship there.
Right.
But like, if you were just some crazy lady who Zerbert, like if you had a baby,
right,
and somebody came up and just Zerberted your baby,
right, you should never Zerbert and then look up from a Zerbert and make eye contact with someone, and it'd be like,
oh,
what are
no.
you doing? Like a questioning
Right.
Zerbert look.
Right. Yeah, it's Zerberts are no good in that way. Oh, can you pause for 1 second?
Sure. Okay, we just had to take a little break.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My life is chaos. And
Yeah.
as you see, there's just a lot going on.
At all times.
At all times.
Yes, this is why we record at my house normally.
I know. There's a lot of people here. And
So many.
They cannot function
Without you.
without me, and we just have a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now I also feel bad because my husband said that he listens to the podcast and he feels that I'm.
All right, let's say something really nice about Alex Paul.
Alex Paul is like the best.
He is.
He
the
really
best.
is. He's
such a good dad.
He's such a good dad. And he's so handsome.
Yeah.
And he's so kind.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Good job, Alex.
Keep up the good work.
Way to be.
So we were talking about Zerberts.
I think we were, yeah.
I think we're done with the Zerberts.
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to say, like, I think that the moral of the story is we're getting into this, like, Christmas season is, like, you gotta be greedy. You gotta be greedy for Christmas. You gotta be greedy for love. You gotta be greedy. Isn't that what he says at the end?
Well, I think it's right because I think that we make Christmas. Like, we do. It doesn't exist if we don't do
Put
the
some
thing.
effort into it.
And putting the effort isn't just, putting up Christmas lights and decorating and everything. You got to do the thing in your brain with
Right.
Christmas where you have to say, no, I'm
going to enjoy this.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Right.
And I'm going to open up my eyes and see the beautiful Christmas lights and the decorations and just get into it and embrace it. And don't worry about it being so perfect.
Right.
Just get into it. But you have to do the work.
Christmas, get into it.
It's not so bad. Do the thing. I think that's the thing too. People put these I also think people put these high expectations on Christmas.
Right.
And they just think, oh no, we have to do all these things and we have
Right.
to. And I'm all about the traditions and doing all the stuff, but I also think that sometimes you just have to take a step back and, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be full of love.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
There
people.
you go, people. You heard it from me. Like, believe in Christmas, make
Right.
it magic, but don't get crazy about it. It's
Okay.
not.
Well, you have to save that for the end part.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
Okay, so right now, do we feel like we really haven't talked about the movie, but
I think we talked about the
was
movie a
great.
lot.
I loved it.
I love this movie so much. Another thing I thought about watching it was 80s business culture, and we've talked about that. Like, I know we
Yeah.
talked about that when we did your
at
favorite
Bernie's.
movie, Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
And even watching this, though, I was like, it's not that far off from how it is now, how you have the executives who all just kind of like
tell you what to do.
Yeah, you just do the thing that the big boss wants.
Right,
and
right.
I also think that it's I have another child
There's
who needs
another
something.
child
All right, we gotta
All
pause
right,
it
pause
again.
again.
Pause again.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway.
But I was
80s
saying
business
80s
culture.
business culture, I think it's pretty much the same. Like when he's like, if I work late, you have to work late. And if like he needs the person to stay with him. And I feel like, I just feel it's more explicitly said. Maybe in the 80s it was just more explicitly said. I feel like now there's just a lot of, different talk around it, like synergy and
Sure.
officey speak. But it's all the same. We just talk differently about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 80s really built this culture.
I think so,
and
too.
that's when we were, like, supposed to be like, yay, work. And, like...
Well, we're still living in that same culture. I mean, you think the people who are the bosses now, a lot of the higher ups came up during... Because they're a little older than we are. Mm-hmm. So they probably entered into the business world during that time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Like, their bosses were more like that. So, I don't know. Interesting. And also, like, getting honored as a humanitarian where he really isn't one.
He's like an ass.
I know. I know. Oh, you know what else I read while we were watching it? So that guy who plays Bryce, he's actually been in a lot of stuff. He was just in that recently in the newer Sex and the City, the one where the big dies.
Yeah,
he's in that. Yeah, and he's been in a lot of stuff. He was also in Gremlins 2.
Oh, he looks familiar to me, but I didn't know if it was just because of this movie or what.
Yeah. So it was interesting.
All right. Well, let me tell you my Spader before any more of your children need something.
Well, I had more to talk about.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
No, forget it.
No.
Did we talk enough?
Make it count.
I was going to say the end of the movie is the best. And I also wonder... Like, I don't know. Now I have nothing else to say.
Good job. Way to go.
Damn, it's Christmas.
Just let it end already. That's what the people want. They just want this to be over with.
This podcast?
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
Okay.
I'd like to think that people enjoy listening to us.
Sure they do.
Ramble about our lives.
Mm-hmm. And how much you like Christmas.
I mean, who doesn't? Yeah. It's a big deal. Because everybody loves it. Okay. All right. Give me your Spader. All right. Let's do it.
This one's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
It's a direct connect. And we've done this one before, but I tried another way and I couldn't do it. And frankly, I'm a little sick and I stopped.
Okay. What is it?
So it's Bill Murray. And Bill Murray, he's in a movie called Speaking of Sex with James Spader.
Oh, we did this exact same one before.
Mm-hmm. I know, I'm weak.
You are weak, but you're a little sick.
I have a fun new quote for us about James Spader.
Okay, good.
Someone wrote about this movie, Speaking of Sex. What's the deal with James Spader? Why does he always end up playing the incompetent boob with weird sexual fantasies?
James Spader is just like, yep, that's...
Yeah, like, sorry, man, I don't know what to tell you.
He's like, I'm getting paid.
Right.
And
that's why.
That's
enough.
And I'm a working actor and have been since the 80s.
That's right.
Mic drop, boom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, well, this was a good one. This was fun. Thanks for, I'm glad we watched this together. Join us next week.
As we drown in Christmas.
Next week, we're just going to fully be like, I can't breathe.
Right.
The Christmas is on my face.
Christmas is all around us.
Yes, it's going to be a good time. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for following us and liking us. Mm-hmm. And
did you tell a friend about us yet?
Did you?
We've asked you to.
That's all we want for Christmas.
We meant end of day, not end of December. So do it today.
Do it today. Pick up the phone. Yeah. Not only will you connect with someone you love.
Right.
And say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever they celebrate. Mm-hmm. And then you can also say, hey, you know what? There's this podcast I listen to. Mm-hmm. And these ladies are weird, but they're fun.
Right.
And I enjoy it.
Like us. Because if you're listening to this, you're weird and fun too.
Yeah, you are.
Stop trying to deny it.
You're so weird and fun, and we love you.
Yeah, girl.
You know what we like the most? That you're confident. Mm-hmm. But
not super controversial.
That's right.
You
all right.
Like Christmas. But you're not going to be all Scrooged about it.
That's true. Right? That's true. All right. We love you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Controversial. Confidently. Controversial.